Kung Fu won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
The Golden Child.
That's the steel drum that they put in every movie in the 80s.
Well, in the Golden Child's case, it would have been a synthesizer doing it.
Well, it was both, yeah.
But
I mean,
yes.
it was, it was. Yes.
Yeah.
The Golden Child. Not to be confused with the Golden Shower, which was apparently something that was the former president's peccadillos.
I was going to say, wasn't that a Peter O'Toole movie, The Golden Shower?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, no, I'm thinking on Golden Pond.
Right.
Sorry.
And that wasn't Peter O'Toole. That was...
No. It was not.
That was Peter Fonda, I think you're thinking. Or no.
Hey,
Is
no,
it Peter Fonda?
I don't think it was
It's
Peter
Fonda.
Fonda.
But
Henry
Fonda.
I think it's Henry Fonda.
Yes. Getting from P to Henry Fonda. Welcome to the Gen X File.
All right, well, take yourself back to 1986.
Ooh.
April 14th, hailstones weighing upwards of 2.2 pounds fell in Bangladesh, killing 92 people.
That's insane, man. That's like cannonballs falling from the sky.
Yeah,
And it's crazy that only 92 people died.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't imagine. I've never seen hailstones, obviously that big, but I've only been in a couple hailstorms, and man, they're frightening.
They are. We would get hailstorms in Texas.
Yeah.
That were really big and,
Yeah.
plankety, man. Especially if you're in like a shed or something with a tin roof.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, the last one I was in Rockford hanging out with my family, and it was clear skies, and all of a sudden it just crap ton of hail falls out of the sky, and then it went away. And
Hail's weird. It's a weird phenomenon.
It is. April 26th, a mishandled safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukraine, killed at least 4,056 people and damaged almost $7 billion of property.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
April 26th,
I know, I'm
1986.
kidding. They made a movie about that on
There's
HBO.
a mini series, yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. It's very good.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. It's they put a laugh track to it, which I thought was really kind of disrespectful to the situation. But creative license.
December 7th, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake destroys most of the Bulgarian town of Strajica.
I'm sensing a bit of a pattern in your remembrances.
June Doom.
June Doom, baby.
December 12th, The Golden Child is released in theaters. Which actually, of those four things that happened, probably was the best thing that happened. It actually made some money.
Nobody died when the Golden Child was released in theaters. So
I don't know.
yes, I would put that at the top of the list of
You
good
talk
things.
to the writer and the producers, and they would think someone did.
Well, maybe their souls died, but we didn't have a pile of bodies
That's true.
that were smashed by the golden shower storm.
You're just really obsessed.
I'm
with
done with
golden
I'm done with the
showers
golden
today. Are you?
shower joke.
Are you?
Maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, liar. Okay.
We'll see.
The Golden Child was a box office success, but how did it end up with its star, Eddie Murphy, calling it
A piece of shit.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw this in the theater. This was at the height of my Eddie Murphy idolatry. Where he was my favorite, and I enjoyed it. Was it the best movie that he's made?
No.
But
And honestly, rewatching it again, it's a lot worse than I remember.
well, you can tell that it was not supposed to be the movie that came out,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can tell the scenes that they filmed after the test screening because Eddie Murphy could not give less of a shit,
Yeah.
in those scenes.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
But I want to see. I wish they would release the director's cut or the cut that they showed.
The original, yeah,
it's like it's time now. Why not?
I agree. My guess is they probably just don't have it.
They probably just don't care. I mean, I'm sure they have it.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know if there's.
You'd be surprised. A lot of times that stuff just falls by the wayside.
I don't know. In the 80s, they kept. I mean, they were starting with video and stuff, so they kept stuff. I don't know. I mean, they always put. Who knows? Time will only tell.
That's true. The Golden Child starts with Dennis Feldman, son of attorney turned film producer and Hollywood executive Phil Feldman.
Nepotism.
Yeah, oh yeah. As a child, Dennis was an extra in The Wild Bunch in 1969, which his father produced.
Hey, look. Peckinpah.
Yeah.
You want that extra 10 grand for your budget? You're putting my boy in the picture.
Yeah,
You're putting him in.
I think he was just an extra. I don't think any lines or anything. But
Put him in as an extra.
But-
That's as far as I'll go.
the fact is that he was around movies his entire life.
Yes.
I mean, that's, yeah.
He was born into the business, baby.
He was born into the business.
He's a child of the Hollywood scene.
He went on to attend Harvard, where he became interested in photography. He then studied graphic design at the Yale School of Art and Architecture, and Feldman became an acclaimed still photographer, teaching photography for 10 years at San Francisco City College, Boston University,
Woo,
and
Boston
UCLA.
University. Woo, woo. That's where I graduated.
Yeah, he left a little bit before you were there, but
Yeah,
But
what
you-
a privileged little life he's had.
yeah, very much so.
What a wonderful life of just traipsing around, pursuing your artistic dreams with not a care in the world, as your father produces movie after movie.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of privilege.
Yeah, lucky duck.
He has released 2 photography books, one after an 11-month sojourn through 49 of the 50 continental states.
You know why we know that he has it really easy? Because he went on a sojourn.
Yeah, that was...
Only the uber wealthy have
Yes.
sojourns, Adam.
I know, that's why I wrote it that way. The other book was about the lives of people in Hollywood, where his wife owned a store. Feldman then turned his attention to Hollywood, getting jobs doing script doctoring under the tutelage of his writer brother, Randy.
So it's all nepotism all the time.
Yeah, he had 3 other siblings that I think were all in the business. His first success was Just One of the Guys with Jeff Franklin, who went on to create Full House in 1987, the writer. There is some controversy that Lisa Gottlieb and her writing partner did most of the writing. Lisa Gottlieb was the director of Just One of the Guys.
Oh.
But they were denied writing credit by the producers, and surprisingly enough, Dennis Feldman was one of the co-producers on that.
Interesting.
Shocker. The film was a modest success, but his dad was producer, so, you know. During this time, Feldman was working on other scripts. One of these was a script called Species. It would eventually be made into a movie in 1995.
Good movie.
Followed by Species 2. Yeah, I like the first one.
Yeah, the second one wasn't too bad, and then it kind of went
I don't
downhill
really
from there.
remember the second one at all.
So Species was a good movie. Second one was
Species was
pretty
good.
good.
Species 2 was released in 1998. Species 3 was a TV movie in 2004. And
What TV
Species
show?
The Awakening.
I mean, what channel?
Sci-Fi. They were all on Sci-Fi.
So they. Oh, okay. I thought there was only 2 in the theater. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Species 3 was a TV movie, and then Species The Awakening, which I believe was like a prequel, was released in 2007. I believe it was all on Sci-Fi Channel.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another script he was working on, The Rose of Tibet, was a nod to Raymond Chandler movies, but with supernatural elements. This was smack in the middle of the satanic panic gripping the country, so I'm pretty sure he was just trying to cash in.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. Yes, the Satanic Panic was huge, but it was all about preschools and, satanic forces eating their children and molesting children.
Yeah.
And this is, I think it was, I don't know, I think it was interesting of him to turn that into a sort of like film noir kind of situation because it fit.
Yeah, no, it did. It did. It's just dealing with the demonology and the stop motion animation at the end. It was just so like I imagine that there were people complaining about this movie at the time.
I don't maybe, but I don't remember it being because it was Eddie Murphy and he was on the side of against the demons. So, and
That's
I think
true.
I think they were cool with it because he wasn't
Right.
trying to get the child to eat the blood.
He was trying to beat the
trying
demons.
to save the golden child.
Good point. He named the main character Chandler Jarrell after Raymond Chandler
Interesting.
in his movie The Rose of Tibet. The script turned some heads and started a bidding war in Hollywood over the rights. Paramount ended up putting up $330,000 for the script rights, and he was given the option to direct despite the fact that he'd never directed a movie ever in his entire life.
Yeah, for a moment.
Yeah. What do you mean for a moment?
I mean, they didn't let him direct it, right?
No, but it was an option in his contract.
No,
So
that's
I mean,
good.
if he had fought it, then he could have done it. I mean, so that's all I'm saying is that he could have if he wanted to.
Oh, okay.
But
he could have, but I'm sure the studio would have made his life a living hell if he didn't.
But
acquiesce.
they shouldn't have included that option in the first place.
Probably because he's dead. He had a great effing lawyer because of his father.
Exactly. I'm sure it was Daddy's lawyer.
We don't even know this. We're being really mean to him.
I know. While writing the script, Feldman thought the lead should be Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson was huge at the time. He would have been great, especially for that kind of, detective part.
More
it would
serious.
Have, it would have been very interesting.
Yeah. The studio reached out to Mel Gibson, but he turned the part down. Paramount then turned to a newly minted star, Eddie Murphy. Murphy had a contract with Paramount, having earned them a ton of money with 48 Hours, Trading Places, and Beverly Hills Cop. He'd done them all with Paramount. By this point, Murphy had actually started his own production company, getting producing credit for The Golden Child.
Yeah, well, he'd earned it, and that's the only way they're going to get him. It's at this point, profit participation at the top is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Definitely reference our earlier Eddie Murphy episodes where we talk about his early movies and the fact that this is kind of a postscript to that because it was just another step in him creating this entertainment juggernaut.
Right.
Yeah.
A misstep, some would say, but it's not. I don't believe it's his fault.
Not necessarily, but I think what he got out of this was the production company. Like I think that was the step forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this movie, it did not turn out the way that he was hoping, for sure.
Well, he did a good pivot into pretty much family films after this.
Yeah.
He
wrote the next 5 movies he did, he wrote himself.
Yeah, and that's kind of, yeah. I mean, that was what, Harlem Nights and...
Coming to America and...
Coming to America, great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Harlem Nights and...
Okay movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's okay. It's a bit of a... It's kind of when he was getting a bit too... Not big for his britches, but just nobody was telling him, hey, maybe that's not as funny as you think it is.
Too many yes men. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the quality
what do you
wasn't
do?
as good.
Yeah, I mean, he's Eddie Murphy. Like,
exactly. And, it was an interesting... failure? I don't like to use that word. But an interesting...
it was interesting.
It just wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
And maybe he was nervous working with...
he was working with some of his heroes. So
he was working with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And Richard Pryor at the time, too, was... I think he was suffering from CP because he... Famously, at the time, he... Even in the movie, he had to hold a Bic lighter in his hand
the whole time.
to keep his hand from shaking.
Oh, wow.
And to keep his hand from just, curling.
Oh, really?
Into
wow.
itself, yeah,
wow.
because it was so bad. So if you look at the movie, you can see he's gripping that hand.
always
Yeah, it's almost like Bob Dole.
Bob Dole,
Bob Dole here with Bob Dole.
I got a pen. You need a pen.
I got a pencil. My other hand's a sharpener. But so awful. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think this was a big disappointment for him in a way that it didn't turn out the way that he wanted, and maybe that's why he took control because...
Yeah, 100%. No, I 100% agree.
He famously is not a big fan of this movie.
No. And I think that a lot of it is him writing his own movies and having the production company being like, no, I know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah. But for me, at the height of my fandom, I still really dig this movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a lot to like. It is about 70% Beverly Hills Cop in Tibet. But,
It really is.
It's got the...
it is essentially Axel Foley. It's
and we were watching it, and it's got the scene that has to be in every Eddie Murphy movie where he is skulking through a mansion.
Yeah.
We were talking about...
Oh, there's a lot,
okay,
yeah.
All of you young kids out there who are great with cutting stuff together, somebody please cut together Axel Foley going through the mansion in Beverly Hills Cop and intercut that with Chandler Gerard or whatever Chandler Jarrell going through Mumpsy's mansion, like they're stalking each other. I want to see that. I'm too lazy to do it. Please do it.
Murphy had actually turned down a part in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, to star in this film.
Do you know which part?
It was actually, it ended up going to Christine somebody. It was started as a female, and they had rewritten it for him as a comedy relief, and then when he turned it down, they made it the
I remember that. It was really like a cool moment where everybody was like, Eddie Murphy's going to be in Star Trek.
Yeah. No, I don't think at that point he wanted to play the second fiddle anymore.
He was looking to do something different, and that's why he signed on to this.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it was something very different for him.
Yeah. Both movies, actually, surprisingly enough, were released on the same day in 1986.
And I saw them both probably bouncing from theater to theater.
Nice. So with Murphy on board, Paramount really wanted to change the script to suit Eddie Murphy more. They wanted to add more of the quote-unquote street smart aleck humor that earned Beverly Hills Cop over $300 million. Also with a bigger star on board, Paramount discouraged Feldman from directing. They offered the film to John Carpenter to direct, but he turned it down to work on Big Trouble in Little China.
That would have been interesting, but I'm glad he turned it down because then we wouldn't have had Big Trouble in Little China.
100%, yes.
Which is kind of the flip side to this movie, which the reason why we picked them is they are kind of very similar movies in terms of tone and plot, but the execution of Big Trouble in Little China is so much better. I mean, it has like half of the same actors are stars in both of these movies.
Yeah,
both of these movies.
They overlap a lot.
Yeah, James Hong, who's in both movies, is basically playing the opposite characters. You know, he's the good guy and the bad guy.
It was weird seeing him as a good guy in Golden Child.
And then the other guy, the journalist guy,
Victor Wong,
is pretty much the same guy in both movies.
Victor Wong, we'll get into him because he's had a fascinating life.
Both those guys, man.
Both of them,
both of them are just unbelievable. And there needs to be a documentary about both of those gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Separate, not a documentary
about both of them.
Mooshing them together, but let's do one of each.
Yeah,
we can do that today, people.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hong and Huang.
Yeah, yes. So they eventually settled on the director Michael Ritchie, not Guy Ritchie's father.
He's not?
No. Ritchie made a name for himself doing sports movies like Downhill Racer.
Is he his stepfather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Downhill Racer, The Bad News Bears, Semi-Tough, and Wildcats.
All, except I don't remember Downhill Racer, but all of the other movies, really great. Bad News Bears, the original, right? With Walter Matthau?
Yeah.
Freaking classic. One of the greatest sports movies ever made. One of the funniest movies ever made. One of the last times you're going to see kids drinking beer and cursing and all that stuff. Like just driving cars. You want to see what it was like being a kid in the 70s? Watch Bad News Bears. 100% accurate. Semi-Tough. Great movie with Burt Reynolds and I think Mac Davis as a couple of football players and what it was like to like age in the NFL. And then Wildcats was a hilarious movie with Goldie Hawn playing a coach, a football coach. Yeah. And it was the beginning of Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes' careers. They both played,
that's right.
It was their first movie together.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
And a really awesome movie, very 80s, but also a really
great movie.
Yeah,
it's a
so
really
this guy's Ritchie. Hey man, props to him.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, he also directed The Candidate in 1972 with Robert Redford. It was a
amazing
political thriller, great movie, and Fletch Lives.
Fletch, awesome. Fletch Lives.
Yeah.
That's where he should have retired at Fletch.
No, he should have retired at The Golden Child because it was after Fletch.
Okay,
then Fletch Lives was literally the movie he did after this.
Oh man, swing and a miss.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. Although eventually, I think he wrote the script for Cool Runnings, if I remember correctly.
Cool Runnings, man.
I don't think he directed it.
Everybody did Jamaican accents. That was just like it was that cultural nightmare when that movie came out. It was Cool Runnings, man. Like, oh, shut up, man. Oh, and you're a white dude with dreadlocks, too. Gross.
That happened a lot in the 80s.
A lot of appropriation in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. A lot in the 90s. Early 90s was bad that way, yeah.
We didn't know any better. We were just a bunch of privileged Hollywood royalty.
Really liked the music, man.
We did. We didn't know. We just put our sombreros on and our fake mustaches and...
It was an excuse to smoke a lot of weed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Everything was an excuse to smoke a lot of weed. Still is. We don't need excuses anymore.
That hasn't ended. So after they cast Eddie Murphy and they got this director in place, they went on to cast Charles Dance as Sardo Noopsy.
Sardo
Noopsa.
Noopsy,
yeah. Up to this point, Charles Dance had appeared in a number of parts for British TV. He'd only done a couple feature films. He had a bit part in For Your Eyes Only, the James Bond movie.
For Your Eyes Only.
He was just one of the extra bad guys that fights James Bond a couple times.
Only for you.
Wait, who sings this?
That's Sheena Easton, baby.
I don't. God, it's so funny. I always associate that one song with her. I didn't realize she did. I am not averse in the Bond movies. Like, I need to get better at it.
Everybody's done one pretty much at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody. Even, I think Billie Eilish did the last
He did the
one.
last one. Yeah, it was good.
She's
it
awesome.
was good. Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
Yeah. So for your eyes only, he was playing a little bad guy in that. Not little bad guy.
Little bad guy. Just little bad guy.
He was just he was a thug. He also had a co-starring part opposite Meryl Streep in the movie Plenty.
Where he just kept saying, "That's plenty." She'd be like,
Is this
"Would you
enough?"
like a little bit more to eat?" No, that's plenty. Plenty coming to theaters. December
Oh,
1986.
after that, he went on to do The Golden Child, and then he would go on to play villains for the majority of the rest of his
Oh,
career.
yeah. Most famously in The Last Action Hero with his crazy eyes.
Thought you were going to say Game of Thrones.
Well,
but-
yes.
But yes, Last Action Hero is fantastic.
We're talking to the Gen X crowd,
I
man.
know,
They don't
I
care
know,
about
I know.
Game of Thrones.
Well,
Too
it
much
was-
nudity.
Now, but this...
Too much
This
nudity
is
for me. It's
but
a
this
little
was
much.
the thing is that he actually after Last Action Hero he kind of fell by the wayside for a while.
He went. I mean, yes, but he was doing a lot
He
of
worked,
theater, and
yeah,
he was doing a lot of television and film in
Yes.
England.
In England, yeah, he never stopped working. But if it didn't happen in America, it didn't happen.
If you watch, like me, if you're a Britophile, a BBC-ophile,
Anglophile.
that's for the regulars, the reggies, not the real snoots like myself.
Yeah.
You will see him show up in a lot of stuff in like the 90s and
Oh yeah, yeah.
early 2000s, and he was in a lot of stuff.
He's great. He's fantastic. He's got such a great voice and
Oh, it's
plays
remarkable.
a villain so well.
Yes, and he all culminating with him dying on the toilet, getting shot with a couple of arrows by his son on the turlet.
His dwarf
Yes.
son. Yeah.
Why you gotta go
it's
there?
So good. Because he was.
Well, that's true. He was. Yeah. I mean, for him, I guess it was the worst that could happen. You know, his
Oh,
the
yeah.
son that killed
But
his
that was-
wife that he always hated
That was the beauty of it.
killed him on
Yeah.
the toilet. It was
That's
like
you-
delicious,
Being hoisted by your own petard, man.
nice.
Yeah. Charlotte Lewis as Ki Nang. Charlotte Lewis, despite playing a Chinese, I guess?
Tibetan.
Tibetan? Yeah. In this, her mother was Irish English, while her father, a doctor whom she never met, is half Chilean and half Iraqi.
Yeah, she played a lot of like Thai or
Yeah.
different types of Asian characters, and honestly, I thought she was probably Thai.
Yeah.
I didn't
that's
know.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And she shows what an ignorant asshole I am, but
I was surprised that she was not, doesn't have any.
it just shows you how Hollywood is. It's like, well, you kind of look the part.
Yeah.
Let's yeah, you got that. You're ethnic.
Yeah.
You know, I had a good friend. She would go out on a lot of auditions, and it was just like ethnically ambiguous. And then she was fairly ethnically ambiguous, so it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, you could play, this, that, and the other, and it's just so insulting.
It's like the dude who plays Monk in the TV show Monk.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub, who you need a Middle Eastern guy, you need
yeah.
an Italian guy,
Yeah.
you need a Spanish dude.
Yeah. Same with
there.
the bald guy that makes all the drinks for everybody on Zoom. You all know who we're talking.
Stanley
Yeah,
something?
Tucci.
Stanley
The
Tucci.
Tooch.
Hey,
Stanley the
the
Tooch
Tooch.
Tucci. Yeah, he's another one that they're just
Hey.
that's
Listen to us try to remember names.
been. Yes, that's the most old man thing about this goddamn podcast is us being like that guy from the Thing. You know, the one with that thing on his face. You know, the guy that does the doots, the doodly doots.
Yeah. So Charlotte Lewis made her acting debut in the Roman Polanski movie Pirates. She was 18 years old when she made The Golden Child.
That's insane.
Which is crazy to me.
Does not look or carry herself as an 18-year-old.
No,
I thought she was like close to 30.
Yeah, exactly. After she starred in some movies with James Spader and Dolph Lundgren, as well as guest starring role on Seinfeld, she didn't do a whole lot of notable things.
No, but she had a
afterward.
decent career.
Yeah, she's had a decent career. In 2010, she
Better career than we've had.
Okay, well, it's not a competition, but that's cool.
Isn't it, Adam? We're in America.
In 2010, she accused Roman Polanski of sexually assaulting her during the filming of Pirates when she was 16. There was a savage media assault to discredit her, claiming that she knew full well what she was doing and that she was
By
actually
being
dating
assaulted
him. Yeah.
at 16?
Literally, this is how she kind of stopped acting after this.
Well, because F them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. No, this whole, like, slut shaming or
was
child
bad,
shaming. If
yeah.
you're 16, you don't know what you're doing. He was a 40, 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what he's doing. She doesn't. Poor, God, just burns my britches, baby.
Yeah, it's awful. It was just absolutely awful.
F him. I mean, that guy, look, he's made some really great films that I've really enjoyed, but he is a child molester.
Yes,
you know?
100%.
And there's no excusing that at all.
Yeah.
I don't care if his wife was murdered. I don't care what happened. I mean, it's horrible what happened to Sharon Tate. But for him personally,
It doesn't
it doesn't
excuse
excuse you being
kids.
a child molester, no matter how sad or effed up you are.
Yeah.
There's something. Grief does not turn you into a pederast.
No.
That is in you.
No.
Sorry, Polanski fans, but that's where I'm at.
No, he was such a pedophile that he literally moved out of the country.
Yeah, to avoid being charged for raping a 13-year-old child.
Anyway.
The more you know. Boom, boom, ba-ding.
But hey, the Academy gave him an Oscar. Woo!
Yes, standing ovation.
Yep.
That's what we do.
J.L. Rayate as the Golden Child itself, or himself, which actually turns out it was herself.
She was a girl all
It was
along.
actually a girl. Her full name is Jasmine Lauren Rayate, and she was 7 when filming began.
Do they ever?
No,
Do they ever?
it's a boy the whole time.
Well, I was saying, but do they call him a boy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Through the whole movie. Yeah.
All right.
This was her one and only theatrical performance, as she then retired from acting at the tender age of 7.
I don't think she had any lines. Maybe a
She had
couple.
one. She had one word, and I don't remember what it was. But
Poop.
yeah, poop.
Gotta poop. Hey,
Hey, how's that cage? Poop.
gotta poop.
Yeah.
I've been in the. Yeah, I mean, she had poop out those little pedals.
There was something. It was something she said right before she brings back Kenang. I don't remember what it is, but Victor Wong as Old Goopa.
Old Goopa. It's like a friggin' Mario Brothers villain. Here's Old Goopa coming in.
I don't know if they actually
Jump on his back.
said his name in the movie or not, but it's just like
Old Goopa.
Old Goopa. Victor Wong grew up in Chinatown in San Francisco. Wong studied political science and journalism at the University of California, Berkeley, and theology at the University of Chicago.
Yeah.
He was born in 1927, I believe. So
Lord.
like it was, yeah. So he was coming around in college around the 40s, shortly after the war. Wong joined the Second City Comedy Troupe and stayed with Langston Hughes.
That's crazy.
Like what? He just hung out with Langston Hughes in Chicago and did comedy. It's
Hey, man. Langston was hilarious. His space work when he was improvising was bar none.
Yes,
Nobody was
and.
better. Yeah.
Wong returned to San Francisco for the summer, taking part in a theater production, and he never returned to Chicago. This was in the late 40s, early 50s. He resumed his studies at the San Francisco Art Institute under Mark Rothko, earning a master's degree in 1962. This is what kills me about this guy.
He's like Forrest Gump.
He's just everywhere.
Yeah.
After the Kennedy assassination, Victor Wong decided to focus on journalism, given the fact that he had a degree in journalism from the University of California. He worked on air at KQED's newsroom from 1968 until 1974, when he was stricken with Bell's palsy, paralyzing half his face.
Oh, bummer. Now, here's the opposite of our intrepid writer who had a very easy and privileged life. We got a guy that's worked his way up from everything to get to where he's going. And he still get Bell palsy when he's pretty young.
Yeah, he was, and he would have been less than 50. So I mean, like
Crazy.
in his late 40s. Yeah, that's crazy. And the fact is that he was a TV personality for 6 years.
Yeah.
So once his face was paralyzed, he had to stop. But during his tenure on Newsroom, Wong is actually credited with inventing the photojournalistic essay, covering stories with his still camera and returning to narrate them in the studio.
Yeah, the guy is incredible. And like I said, he deserves a documentary, something that is... His life is fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fascinating. So after his journalism career ended, he turned back to acting and made his debut in Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart, directed by Wayne Wang.
Sweet movie.
Yeah, Wayne Wang was a really great director in the 80s. In fact, he's gone on record saying that Victor Wong was kind of his hero, even though he had only worked with him that one time. Like it was... he wanted to live his life like Victor Wong.
No, don't we all?
Yeah. He would go on to act in Big Trouble in Little China and The Last Emperor. While on the Best Picture winner, The Last Emperor, he had fights with Bernardo Bertolucci about historical accuracy, and most of his scenes were cut from the movie. Obviously.
Great filmmaker, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But
sure.
what balls to,
Look, I can see it from both sides. I get Victor Wong. I mean, he's making a movie about his homeland and his ancestors, and he's like, come on now. At the same time, it's a movie.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be 100% historically accurate.
No, but wouldn't you want to be?
I would think so.
Like, wouldn't you kind of put your ego aside and be like, oh, I mean, it doesn't sound like he's like, well, they didn't have these gold things, so you have to completely redo the set.
Yeah.
You know, it was probably just things that, were probably less appealing to Western people because it was the truth,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Victor's son, Lion Wong, of the hardcore punk band Tales of Terror, died in 1986 after being attacked by a young man while walking home in Sacramento. Do you know Tales of Terror? The band, they influenced a lot of early grunge.
Nice.
Like, Kurt Cobain said it was one of his favorite bands.
Yeah, no, yeah, I have heard, yes. But, yeah.
I thought I had, but then I looked into them, and I don't think I've ever actually heard any of their music.
Well, we should
look them up.
We should listen to them.
Wong was actually asked to film the prologue scene for Big Trouble in Little China shortly after his son's wake. And after shooting the scene, Wong suffered his first stroke.
Good Lord.
Yeah. It was stressful. It was a stressful time.
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Upon learning the events of September 11th, 2001, Wong and his wife Rose spent the day trying to get news of Wong's sons, all of whom lived in New York City. Luckily, they were all unharmed. After his wife went to sleep, Wong stayed up to continue following the news, and at some point during the morning, he died of a heart attack.
Man, another casualty of 9/11.
Yeah.
I'm not joking around either.
No.
There were a lot of people that died
Yeah.
from shock or died from stress or died from whatever reason during that period because it was an insane time. I mean,
it was
if
crazy.
you remember going through that as an adult, the creepiest thing was sitting outside in the silence of no airplanes at all. It was deafening in a way.
Yeah.
Especially living in a big city or in a flight path like we did.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it was just a deluge of horror every day.
Yeah, it was not fun. He was 74, and he had a great life. And
Still not long enough, man.
No, he could have done a lot more. Randall Tex Cobb as Till. He was the goofy bad guy who ends up helping at the end.
Yes, because he got touched.
Where
they just took. So I gather when Eddie Murphy went over to the Star Trek set, to audition or whatever, he swiped one of the Klingon heads, and they just slapped that on old Randall Tex Cobb's head, and just didn't paint it brown, and he basically just looked like an albino Klingon.
He did.
In that movie.
I think that you're probably partially right. It's just not Eddie Murphy. I'm sure it was probably the art department goes, hey, let's grab this thing. They want to make him weird looking.
Star Trek 4 is right around the corner. You guys want to do a heist?
Just sneak in. Hey.
It seems like a lot of the makeup was weird. The Monkey Man was weird looking. But he was creepy, though.
Yeah, he was good. So Randall Tex Cobb was actually a professional heavyweight boxer and a professional kickboxer.
I used to watch him box before I saw him, yeah. Well, there was a period of time in the 80s when Laser Tag Larry and I were big fight fans. Mostly because of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
But there were other guys, too, that were like... that's when the fights kind of became... It was the resurgence between the Muhammad Ali time and then the Mike Tyson time. And then Mike Tyson, he completely reinvigorated it. Right. So we watched a lot. And they would have a lot of his fights were on like the ABC, the same kind of shows where they would have like the Mr. T and the greatest bouncer competition, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He was, Tex Cobb was widely considered to possess one of the greatest chins of all time, and he defeated such notables as Bernardo Mercado, Ernie Shavers, and Leon Spinks.
Yeah, and he also had no cartilage in his nose. He had the cartilage removed in his nose, which most boxers do.
Weird.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want to have your nose busted every time you have a fight.
Oh,
so
I did not know that.
Yeah, most boxers, they can just mush their nose in because there's nothing there. Because there's no reason. If you're going to get your nose busted every time.
He was
Next time you watch Raising Arizona, look at his nose.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
is also work. It looks like this.
He was ranked in the global top 10 heavyweight boxers by The Ring in 1981 and 1982, and BoxRec in 1982.
He's just a slobby looking guy though too.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just like
yeah.
he's very hairy and just he's
He looks like a big goon.
exactly.
just
They're
a
not
big
going to
dude.
market Tex Cobb as like the next Great White Hope or whatever.
In addition to playing a bad guy in The Golden Child, Cobb has played a series of villainous roles in films such as
Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, Blind Fury, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Liar, Liar, Naked Gun, 33 and a Third, The Final Insult, Fletch Lives, and Ernest Goes to Jail.
He's also made guest appearances on several television shows, including
Miami Vice, Highlander, the series, Married, with Children, Moonlighting, Walker, Texas Ranger, ooh, with our buddy, MacGyver, as the character Earthquake, and the X-Files. Not to be confused with the Gen X-Files.
Yes. One of his more memorable roles is the menacing outlaw biker / bounty hunter Leonard Smalls in the 1987 Coen Brothers film Raising Arizona.
My name's Leonard Smalls. And I get my man, even if it's a baby. So I'll get your baby back.
It's so gross. It's basically his thing. If you listen to
Yeah,
it, it's like somebody just jammed a bunch of cotton up his nose before, and then action.
Go get your baby.
Joel Coen later described Cobb as difficult to work with,
Oh, really?
saying,
He's less an actor than a force of nature. And I am not surprised at all.
they got what they wanted from him.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
That is I can't wait till we do that,
yeah.
Raising Arizona episode, because that is an absolute perfect movie.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, man. It's hard for me to watch that movie because that was on the background for like 2 years when I was in college. Just played every party. It was just on. We wore out like 3 tapes.
Oh, wow. In 1993, he appeared in a caricature of himself in a commercial for Old El Paso Salsa.
Old El Paso salsa.
It was, I did actually watch that commercial because I was curious.
Yeah.
And,
It did not disappoint. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. James Hong was cast as Dr. Hong.
Woo!
Yeah. Hong was actually born in Minnesota.
Oh man, he is so amazing.
Yeah, he was fantastic. His father emigrated to Chicago.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's 93.
Don't you be disparaging.
No. His father emigrated to Chicago from Hong Kong via Canada and then settled in Minneapolis.
Nice.
His dad owned a restaurant and was the leader of the local Hip Sing Tong, which is the Chinese mafia.
When I first saw that, I thought it said hip hop song.
Nope.
I was like, interesting.
Hip Sing Tong.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
American
was
dream.
like, oh, okay, all right. So when he became education age, they sent him to Hong Kong. He studied there until the age of 10. And he first developed an interest in performing arts after watching Peking opera performers rehearse at his father's shop.
Ooh.
He studied civil engineering at the University of Southern California.
Damn.
And Hong later became interested in acting and trained with Jeff Corey, who eventually was in Battle Beyond the Stars.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
He was the blacklisted guy who taught everybody in Hollywood while
Right.
he was blacklisted.
Yeah.
The name, Jeff Corey, the guy who no one knows who he is, but would have been an incredibly famous actor.
And his son is Jeff Corey, who is the nature guy that does all those. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But there is, I think, a guy named Jeff Corey who
Wait,
does
so, okay.
nature programs.
Okay.
Could be his son. Who
It could
knows?
be, yeah, it could be related. Hong was a road engineer in Los Angeles County for 7.5 years, acting during his vacations and sick days.
Road engineer.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cool job. What do you do? I'm a road engineer, buddy. Ride the road engineering.
He eventually quit engineering for good to devote himself to acting and voice work full time.
Nice.
He has appeared in
That was when he was 70.
yeah. He's appeared in over 600 movies and TV shows.
Everything.
Yeah.
You can think of, he has been in or on.
In 2020, Daniel Day Kim discovered that Hong did not have a star on the Walk of Fame, so he started a GoFundMe to pay for the required $55,000 fee to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Right, it used to be 30. 30 grand.
Yeah, 55 now. He earned the star in 2022, just a few weeks ago at the age of 93.
I saw him on one of the Jimmys. I don't remember, no,
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, James Corden. I don't know. There's a lot of Jimmys on the
A
late
lot of
night.
Jimmys, yeah.
I'm not complaining. I love the name. Not Jimmy, but Jim. James is good. But Jimmy denigrates the James brand, in my opinion. we're not going to get into it. But I did see any further. I did see Mr. Hong. Hong. I get them mixed up. Sorry.
It's okay.
I did see James Hong.
Yeah.
I did see James Hong on the show, and he came out with like a dragon, you know, a two-person puppet Chinese dragon, you know, used ceremonies, and dances and such, different things. Came out dance fighting the dragon.
That's crazy.
Not like an old man dance fighting the dragon, like a young man, shoo-sha, you know, dancing, doing the moves, doing the thing. The guy has so much pep, so much energy, and so much love for life. He is an inspiration to jaded old, you know, jerks like me. It's like, God, that guy has been through so much, done so much, lived through so much, and is just still full of so much energy and hope and positivity.
And 40 years later, still looks like he's 90.
Oh my God, he has looked the exact same since 1937.
I think his
hairline.
Well, his hairline, but he's got a little more creasy, but like he still looks exactly the same.
Because he dyes that hair. Make sure it's just black as night.
Pons Mar played Fu, the weird monkey guy.
That sounds really like a Star Wars sentence. Pons Mar.
I know, the guy's literal name was Pons Mar.
Where's he from?
No, I don't know. I could not find hardly any information about the guy.
Weird.
His first feature film as an actor was Return to Oz in 1985, which he played the lead Wheeler.
Yeah, I totally remember him, yes.
Because once you realize who he is, think about the movies I'm listing, and you will remember, because he's such a weirdo. He was just so bendy. He was so bendy all the time.
He's kind of like our buddy. He's kind of like our friend Marty Matulis.
Oh, yeah.
He can play creatures.
I don't think he's quite as tall.
No, I don't know if Marty's quite as bendy, let's be honest. He's old. No offense, baby. You're doing great work.
Marty.
He's the most successful out of all of us, but he may not be as bendy as Pons Mar.
On Return to Oz, he also worked behind the scenes as a performance coordinator. He also appeared in Masters of the Universe. And perhaps the greatest credit ever was the voice and performed as he performed as the voice and body model for the Noid for Domino's Pizza.
I'm the Noid. Ooh, don't roid the Noid. What was the thing?
Avoid
the Noid.
Don't roid the Noid.
Don't roid the Noid. Avoid the Noid. That was what it was, because steroids were really big back then. So they were like, because occasionally people would roid the Noid, and he'd get real big and just like smash pizza into people's faces. It was really aggressive.
That's why you had to avoid the Noid, because he was full of roids.
Avoid the roided Noid.
So Pons Mar also worked as a performer for the entire 65-episode run of the television series Dinosaurs.
I'm the baby.
He's a puppeteer now. Like, he does all puppeteering. Yeah. I don't know if he did the baby or not.
Well, the baby was probably just a puppet, unless they like jammed.
No, that's what I mean. He does puppetry now.
Oh,
like that's
nice.
So I don't know which part he actually played.
All right, way to go, Mr.
Pons Mar.
Mr. Mar, Mr. Pons.
From the planet Joktu.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter Kwong is Tommy Tong.
Peter Kwong, awesome actor. He's so badass in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, another Big Trouble in Little China actor.
Yeah, basically they might have. What happened there? When they asked Carpenter to direct, did they ask him during the casting session, and he was just watching all these guys go by, like, I'll take him, and I'll take that guy, and him, and him. Oh, nope, you can't have. I'm going to take Kurt Russell for myself, and you can have Eddie Murphy.
I want to say that there was probably a casting call for Asian actors, and you had a very limited. I'm guessing the pool was small.
I don't know if the pool was small. I think that the pool of recognizable guys was smaller. The one thing I will say about Golden Child, and I mentioned this when we were watching it, is that it's very diversely cast.
Yes.
There's not really, except for the bad guy, except for Dance.
And the bikers.
And the bikers.
Otherwise.
Bad guys.
Again, bad guys, yeah.
They're the only white people.
Yeah.
They're only white people that are cast. Everybody else, like from the detective that talks to Murphy at the beginning to everybody, and Ty Cobb is miscast as a Himalayan. I don't know what he's supposed to be, but
Tex Cobb.
Yeah. What did I say?
Ty
Cobb. Yeah. He was
Ty
in it
Cobb.
too.
He was
Randall
great.
Ty Cobb, the baseball
He
player.
was one of the monks when they get attacked.
That was a good movie with Tommy Lee Jones as Ty Cobb.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Such an awful man. Anyway, yes.
I think it was the writing, because, I mean, that's just how it came out. But
Possibly
yes, but,
Eddie, too,
Yes,
being the producer,
yes.
was like, let's put... See, I think he had Eddie Murphy had a vision of this kind of bridging him from the Beverly Hills, from the films that everybody expects him to
Right,
do,
right.
to doing something a little bit different, because
Yeah.
maybe he was getting bored playing Axel Foley over and over again.
Yeah.
And then when they, threw water on that, it was just like, okay, screw this.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
think
just going
this
to take
might
my
have-
paycheck. Yeah.
This might have really changed the trajectory of his career.
Yeah.
When I think, like you said, after his disappointment in this movie, he went and took control over everything else. And perhaps if he wouldn't have done that as much, like he's
Right.
100%
right. More
worked
collaboration. Yeah.
for Coming to America, but his other,
Yeah.
Boomerang and
Yeah.
his subsequent movies, not bad movies.
Right. Just not quite.
But they didn't click. They didn't.
Yeah.
Like this movie, it took a while, I guess, until he got to like The Nutty Professor, until he kind of switched over to more family films.
Yeah,
And found his
yeah.
niche there. There was a period of Eddie Murphy that was kind of in flux,
Mm-hmm.
and there was we didn't have any great Eddie Murphy movies. We had some good Eddie Murphy movies. There was a very slow, steady move, no ups, no real downs.
No, yeah, yeah. It was.
But
it was-
nothing
yeah.
that was like super memorable. Like I don't remember a lot of Boomerang. I don't remember a lot of.
I know I saw it.
I just remember Della Reese being the most hilarious part of
Oh, yeah,
Harlem
yeah.
Nights. But other than that, I don't remember really. There wasn't a lot of memorable stuff coming out after that.
No, unfortunately. So Peter Kwong, playing Tommy Tong, he's appeared in over 100 films and TV shows, including, as we said, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah.
He studied Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, which has allowed him to do many of his own stunts and eventually branch off to more meditative disciplines such as Tai Chi Chuan and Qi Kung meditation. He actually teaches Tai Chi Chuan here in LA.
Nice.
Yeah.
We should do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's still working. He's doing a lot of TV stuff now. He's aged very gracefully. He's got some pretty. He's not immortal apparently like James Hong, but he's definitely aged very well.
Nice.
And the last one we'll talk about, Frank Welker as the voice of the Thing in The Dark Lord.
I am the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Find the golden child.
Which they never really. Yeah. It's like, was he Satan? Was
Sort of,
he-
I guess. I mean, it looked like hell.
The head demon?
When he did his
I
little,
mean-
when Charles Dance did his little
Little
hell
dance.
meditation, and then all the walls just wisped away, and he was in a sea of fire and hell.
And the guy's talking like
Yeah.
this. Get the golden child. Get the dagger.
Yeah. That's
I could be
pretty
Frank
much it,
Welker.
Yeah. So Alan Silvestri, who did Back to the Future, was originally set to provide the film score, but ended up turning the project down. Paramount then turned to John Barry, who had just come off his award-winning score for Out of Africa.
Yeah, was that Meryl Streep and Robert Redford?
Yeah. Out of Africa. Won Best Picture that year.
A lion ate my baby. Oh no, wait, that's a dingo ate my baby.
That's not in Africa.
Oh,
I
it's
got to
in
be honest, I've
Australia.
never seen Out of Africa.
It's fine. It's a
Yeah.
period piece.
It's part of the reason it never interested me.
There's a lot of movies of that time, like Reds and Out of Africa and Chariots of Fire, that everybody
Yeah.
says they've seen, but nobody's really seen.
I want to say I've seen Chariots of Fire a long time ago, but my brain might have just filled in the fact that I've seen the clip so many
Chariots of
times.
Fire, a couple guys run.
Yeah.
A couple runners.
Hey, they're on the beach running.
And one guy wins, one guy loses.
really skinny.
There you go. And there's a score that we all heard for the next rest of our
billion
lives.
years.
When anytime anybody ever ran. Sorry.
So a teaser trailer was released in the summer of 1986 featuring no footage from the actual movie, but consisting of Eddie Murphy riding a yak through a blizzard complaining,
If I'm the chosen one, how come I'm freezing while you're sitting in a warm movie theater? Chosen one might behind. Why couldn't someone choose me to go to the Bahamas? Which was in the movie.
yeah, the line was in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, after the first audience test screening, the movie was drastically changed. Charles Dance explained.
Initially, The Golden Child was a very interesting script with a lot of resonances. But Paramount basically chickened out. When they first screened it, it was a very different sort of film for Eddie Murphy. Paramount took too much notice of the preview audience's unease about the unfamiliarity of Eddie's character. They had gotten to know him so well through Beverly Hills Cop that they wanted the character to be much more like that. So the studio went back and reshot a lot of footage of Eddie doing Eddie Murphyisms and put them into the picture. Then they took out a really sumptuous, weird, and beautiful score by John Barry and replaced it with something more funky. So basically, what you got was Beverly Hills Cop in debate.
Yeah. During post,
It's not wrong.
no. I mean, he sums it up very well.
Well, he's Charles Dance. He's very eloquent.
He is. During post-production, John Barry actually left the project when both differences with the producers and test screening feedback presented considerable challenges for the composer. The test audience reaction had led the producers to replace Barry's score with new music by Michael Colombier that, in contrast to Barry's work, was mostly synth pop, although there were some brief orchestral passages throughout.
It was the same score. It sounded exactly like Beverly Hills Cop, especially like when he's doing the mansion thing. You don't even have to change the scores on that because they match up pretty well.
But I will say the opening, when they attack the Tibetan monks, the synth pop just does not work.
Oh, I kind of love it.
Does
I
not
kind of
work.
love it.
Some of John Barry's musical cues still remain in the final cut of the film. The movie was released to mixed criticism. Despite this, the movie made about $150 million worldwide.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy was not a fan of the film, disparaging it while doing press for Coming to America, saying that the original script was better than the finished film. Later, Murphy would say,
My pictures make their money back no matter how I feel. For instance, about The Golden Child, which was a piece of shit. The movie made more than $100 million. So who am I to say it sucks?
apparently, the consensus is that the novelization was much better, but I have yet to read it.
I'd like to read it.
I
said,
I do have it coming from the Los Angeles Public Library.
Nice.
It just did not arrive in time.
Wow, that is a definite stepdad move, baby. Either that or like a serial killer move. I got it from the public library. You are great, though, I will have to say. You consistently get things out of the library. You use your library card.
I do.
Is civically responsible.
Yeah.
And it just shows that you're a pretty smart cookie.
I try. I try.
Support your local libraries, people. Be like Adam.
You're technically paying for it, so you might as well use it.
You guys are all paying for Adam's books.
Yeah.
So use them yourselves. Read a book for once.
But I will say, in this case, the library did win because I tried to find it on Amazon and I could not.
Nice.
So
Take
it
that,
was
Jeff Bezos.
some old 40-year-old copy sitting in the library.
Put that in your wiener spaceship and shoot it out to space, Mr. Bezos.
So the reason that the novelization apparently is better is because it's based off the original script.
Yeah, I'd like to read that too.
The original script. Yeah.
And
I didn't look for that. It's possible it's out there somewhere.
I'd like to see that. And come on, Paramount, let's do the original cut. I mean, they were able to put together Donner Superman 2 cut.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, all that stuff.
It's just going to cost them money, and they're probably not going to do it.
We'll pay for it.
Okay.
Gen X Files will produce.
I got
The-
like $40 I can throw
Yeah,
in.
I got a 30. I got $30. We will produce.
Wait, then I'm only putting in $30.
Well, no, you already said 40.
No.
But your name comes first.
Okay,
'Cause you
great.
put the extra tenner in. But yeah, come on, get to it. Give us something good.
Writer Dennis Feldman was disappointed with the film and thought they should have taken the script more seriously.
But instead, everybody wanted to make an Eddie Murphy comedy.
Yeah, he was also critical of director Michael Ritchie.
It's not what the director should have done, and he didn't even do it that well either. He's a very angry man.
Really a lot of Dennis Feldman hate in this
Man,
episode.
no, I'm just saying Dennis Feldman was
He
an
was
angry
just
dude.
angry, but he was.
I listened to interviews of him, and that's exactly what he sounded like.
Wow.
He had a lot of nervous energy, a lot of angry energy.
Despite the fact that Michael Ritchie and Dennis Feldman not Michael Ritchie, but Dennis Feldman and Eddie Murphy were both not very happy with the movie, not everybody had a bad time working on the movie. Charles Dance said,
I thought I'd quite like to do a film with Eddie Murphy, because he makes me laugh. The character was villainous, but he was a comic villain as far as I was concerned, and I hadn't done a film like that before. I don't think as an actor you should back off from any experience, so I thought, okay, we'll try this. and I did it. And I know that it's played over and over again, and a lot of devotees of that kind of thing say it's their favorite film. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he always came in strong at the end, Mr. Dance. Look, we talked about this while we were watching it. I think, and we talked about it during our discussions. I think the reshoots killed this movie because it killed Eddie Murphy's spirit. You can tell the Eddie Murphy scenes that they popped in, and he doesn't have the gusto for it. It's going through the motions for him.
Yeah.
You know, even his laugh at the beginning is like,
yeah, it's like there are literal scenes that are just copycats of Beverly Hills Cop.
and badly shot too. It's just like, okay, let's just get a close up of Eddie Murphy saying something smart ass.
It was just really obvious that he was just not happy with doing these reshoots.
No, and it didn't fit. And it was very. The movie has so much potential, and it could have been something really great.
Yeah.
And there's something good there. There's definitely something to enjoy there if you're an Eddie Murphy fan, especially.
Yeah.
It's, even Eddie Murphy lacklusterly doing his Eddie Murphy-isms is still funny, and it still works. But the problem is you learn about what a great movie this could have been, and it's very disappointing. And it sucks for him, too, that they didn't trust him as a performer to be able to branch out and grab the audiences by doing something different. And it just goes to show you how short-sighted and silly these producers, these studio heads are.
Yeah.
How they don't have a clue, and their whole thing is like, well, it made money.
Yeah, it worked before.
We fixed it, and it made $150 million.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the budget was anywhere between like 15 and 25 million. So
Right.
it made money.
Which is like, F you. That's not yes, at the time it was a pretty good chunk of money, but still, let him do what he would like to do. Let him try something different. You could always go back to Beverly Hills Cop 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Well, I think he signed on reading the original script and was intrigued by it.
Yeah.
And then when he came on, they did the rewrites, and I'm sure he was like, I don't really want to do it this way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also, he was still young and kind of like, well, I have to play the game and do the thing.
But this also switched over, like the control, the evolution of his need for control started with this, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
And culminated not only with him like writing and producing, but also having to play like half of the characters in the movie.
18 different parts.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that before this.
No.
It started with Coming to America.
Yeah.
Was the first time, and then everybody was like, "Well, if we can get 75 Eddie Murphys for the same price as one Eddie Murphy, let's just get everybody. Let's just have it all be Eddie Murphy. It's Bugs Bunny, which is. And look, that scene in the Clumps or whatever, Nutty Professor, with him sitting around as the family, is genius.
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
Absolute freaking genius. One of the most amazing comic bits, and it's all farts and stuff. It's nothing like. But it also is so believable. Like all the characters are very different. I mean, the guy's a genius, but he just got bigger, and nobody was saying no.
I think he was really excited because between 48 Hours and Trading Places and then Beverly Hills Cop, like he worked with great writers and great directors, and like I think he was really excited about this movie
because he was also untouchable.
Yeah,
3 movies, 3 hits, 3 critical successes.
Yeah,
on top of being the most popular person on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he was huge, and it's just one of those. I think he really wanted this to be the next step in that, and like to have some control and be like, like I want to do some stuff, but I think Paramount just took it extremely to the other Eddie Murphy end and was
they panicked.
Just do all this. Just do all this.
They panicked because of this is the worst thing about test audiences. It's the worst part of art and commerce is all of the compromises that you have to make for the commerce, apparently, which always makes it worse. Haven't we learned our lesson? Over 1 million times. Haven't we learned our lesson that whenever you do this, it makes it worse? I mean, my God, Hollywood.
Yeah, there's never a good story of an audience going, "Oh man, good thing they said that. We wouldn't have thought of that."
Oh yeah. Oh, we changed everything at the last minute and made it a huge success.
Yeah.
No, we changed everything at the last minute and then it just died.
And it was a sad mess.
Yeah, or it
And
was,
that's it.
a critical mix or whatever. But of course, at this point, Eddie Murphy could have read the phone book and it would have made $150 million.
Yeah.
He was at that point in his career.
Yeah.
So,
no, it definitely made $150 million because of Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
We're out of time, so we'll be back next week. Was not prepared for that energy this morning.
Suck it
Okay.
and lick it.
Okay. All right.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, The Hair Bear Bunch, already in progress.